Jayson Tatum dominates the Celtics with an amazing answer in the third quarter and a dominant win, a statement win. And we're going to talk about it right now on a bonus Locked On Celtics podcast.
Yup. Beam down, be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Back to back, if I say it, it's stamped. Locked on number 19, the best one, the next one. Juice loose in your pool now for the next run. It's the C's, who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT Karalis, recap the madness every game, every practice. Best daily pod, no cap like Brad Beckett. Clutch like Drew to KP, tap in daily. Prime time, dapping D White on the sideline. Raining Jace, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. I got you covered every Monday through Friday. Bonus podcasts like this one when they play on a Friday or a Saturday night. So make sure you're subscribed. This way you get this dropped directly to your favorite podcasting app. You can also watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section there. Let me know what you're thinking after the Boston Celtics get this dominant win, 131-104. In New York. Celtics win this one by 27 points. Add that to the 23-point win on opening night. That's a combined 50 points that they've won. They've outscored the Knicks by in 2 games. So later on, I'll talk about the message sent. They might not see it as a statement game, but I see it as a message that everybody should be getting. Shooting was great. I'll talk about that third quarter answer. The centers after Kristaps Porzingis was a late scratch. All of that stuff coming up. But we got to start with Jayson Tatum. 40 points, 13 of 26 from the field, 7 of 14 from 3. So 50% from 3, 50% from 2. He was 7 of 9 from the line, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Not a ton of distribution. This was mostly an ISO game. 21 assists for the Celtics in a game where they scored 131 points and made 46 shots. Not a ton of like crazy ball movement. They did move the ball well throughout stretches of this game, but so much of this was Tatum just doing his thing, pick and roll and snaking his way down the middle. Right away, open up the game with a dunk on Precious Achiuwa. And from there, it was just on. He hit a couple of 3-pointers early, and you could kind of tell right away. Once Tatum's got those 3-pointers going early, then it's a wrap. It's probably why when he's cold, he's searching for those 3-pointers right away. And I keep saying it would be nice if he got to the rim first. I'll sort of kind of be like, this is what I was talking about, because he did get to the rim first. And it was 1, but right away, when you show up, like when you just show up and run one pick and roll, blow right past Karl Anthony Towns and just destroy Precious Achiuwa, like right away, it's boom, message sent right away. You know, like that's an immediate, like puff out your chest, like, yeah, it's going to be that kind of night. To do that on the first play has to be an immediate like boost, that adrenaline, that like, oh yeah, give me the ball back, because immediately I'm feeling this. So Tatum kind of just had that going the whole night long. And it's funny, if you read my stuff on Boston Sports Journal, which I didn't introduce myself. I'm John Karalis. I do cover the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. If you're new to the show, if you're just finding me, you're wondering, who the hell is this guy talking about the Celtics? I've been covering the Celtics for about 20 years. I have been doing it at Boston Sports Journal for, God, I've lost track, like 4 or 5 seasons now. So the immediate impact from Jayson Tatum was, I knew when I wrote my preview, I said, I feel a Jayson Tatum 40 piece coming, because he was so bad against Dallas that I knew he wasn't going to be that bad again. And as Brian Scalabrine, give him credit for calling it on TV, had said the Knicks give up a lot of 3-point shooting, a lot of good 3-point shots. And so Tatum got some good looks. He wasn't the only one. A lot of guys got some good looks. And I know that Tatum can attack. Like, you get Karl Anthony Towns in the action against Tatum, he's cooked. And on top of that, he's dealing with a sore knee, right? He was questionable before the game. They ruled him eligible, and like you could tell, like right away, he doesn't even jump for the jump ball. I'm sorry. That was my initial first reaction. Was like, if you're not even jumping for the jump ball, if your knee is bothering you that much, then what the hell are you doing out there? He hit some shots, but like 2 3-pointers. He only had 9 points. He probably shouldn't have played because Tatum just attacked him every time he was out there. Tatum just attacked him. The Celtics attacked him. He had absolutely nothing defensively, and he's not going to be that good defensively anyway. But they really just picked on him. No OG Anunoby, but does that really matter? The Celtics also didn't have Drew Holiday or Kristaps Porzingis. So if a Knicks fan is sitting there saying like, "Oh, we didn't have OG," but yeah, that it's true. That would have been a different defensive matchup, but also it wouldn't have made that big of a difference. He's not a 27-point difference. But okay, I'll give you that. You didn't have OG, and that's fine. Tatum still probably would have dominated. This was his night. He came in. This was gonna be his night from the beginning. So, this is a game where you make the right reads, and the right reads are to attack the guy in front of you, and you can get past them. And when you can get past that guy, and there's so little resistance at the rim, why aren't you going to fire? I'm sorry. Why aren't you going to attack and get going there from 2? And then you can start firing away from 3. He hit some deep ones, man. When Tatum's got a cooking like that, forget it. So Tatum just crushes, right? You could tell right away. The other big story for me is the centers. So Porzingis, he went out, he warmed up, and all of a sudden he's ruled out late, right before the game. The Celtics already put out their starting lineup graphic, and it was they had to remake it because Luke Cornett ended up starting. Porzingis out sick. Cornett was great. 7 of 7 from the field, 12 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds. Immediately he gets a couple of blocks. And I knew another big key for me before the game was Porzingis protecting the paint, because the Knicks get to the paint a lot. They're 6th before this game. They were 6th in the NBA in shots in the restricted area, but they're 13th in field goal percentage in the restricted area. So I knew that there was going to be a chance if you can bother them at the rim, they'll miss and the Celtics can get out and run. And Cornett just stepped right into that. What I wanted Porzingis to do, Cornett stepped right in and did that, protected the rim beautifully. And then on the other end, he and Nimish Keita both did a great job with offensive rebounds. The Celtics had 11 offensive rebounds, 5 for Luke Cornett, 3 for Nimish Keita. That's just a big performance from them, because the Celtics get 85 field goal attempts to New York's 83. Now they get that while getting 11 offensive rebounds. So they pumped up their field goal attempts by crashing and keeping possessions alive. So it's not like they had 100 field goal attempts. But they still got in there and grabbed these offensive rebounds. So Luke was, I mean, there's a reason why Tom Westerholm and I have uh, talked so much about Cornette and why we want him to start in some of these situations. He protected the rim. He rebounded. He ran pick and roll with Tatum. He rolled to the basket and finished off dunks. He got putbacks. He just does all the solid things that you need a guy to do. And not every matchup is going to be his matchup, but this one was really good for him. The Celtics double big lineups were great in this one. There are some nights where double big might not be the way to go. In this one, this was, and it worked out just perfectly. Again, because the Knicks keep forcing it at the rim, and when you force it at the rim against such fierce rim protection, you're going to give up these opportunities on the other end. The Celtics won the points in the paint battle. They, like I said, they won the offensive rebounds. They won the shots. They won the 3 points. The only thing they didn't win was the free throws, as far as like they were 20 of 24, which is good. New York was 25 of 29. Jalen Brunson was 13 of 13 from the free throw line, which was ridiculous. The Celtics were going to blow New York out early in that second half. Brunson had, I think, a 7 for 7 second quarter from the line. Brunson just started grifting, and that kept the Knicks close. The third quarter, this was beautiful, right? This, to me, this is exactly how you want a game like this to go. You actually don't want the wire-to-wire kind of 30-point blowout. I love that this was a 27-point blowout, but I also love that it got down to 3. I'm sorry, I know I'm channeling Joe Mazzulla here. I do love that it got down to 3 and that the Celtics kind of took that big run and said, okay, you guys done now? Our turn. It's like one of those slapping contests where New York just went boom, and New York and the Celtics went, okay, good one, good shot. Bam! And responded with just a haymaker. They went into halftime up 13. The lead got cut down to 3. The Celtics answered with, it's being billed as a 19-3 run. I'm extending it out, so it's a 23-5 run. So it's, I don't know. I like the 23-5 a little bit better. It's what's that? 18. It's 18-point difference versus the 16-point difference. So the Knicks cut it down to 70-67, 6:52 to go in the third quarter. Celtics go 23-5 in about 6 minutes. So all of a sudden it's a 21-point game. And it settled at 20 going into the third. And to me, that's poise. That is the Celtics understand. Like, the Knicks were always going to make a run. They are good. I'm not like the Celtics, and I'll get to this later, but Celtics did show something again here. They're just better than the Knicks. But the Knicks are good. They're a great offensive team. Jalen Brunson is great. And, they are capable of hitting some shots and stringing a run together. I do love that the Celtics took that. They came out. Maybe they let the foot off the gas a little bit. The Knicks came out with a ton of energy. They went into the half with like a feeling of, okay, I think the lead in the first half got up to maybe 18 or 19, and the Knicks cut it down. And they're feeling like, okay, we know we can get them to foul. We know we can get them to bite on fakes. We know we can get these guys. We can get the refs to bite on some grifts. And they had a little bit of confidence. And so they made their run because the Knicks are good and it doesn't matter. Team's going to make a run in the NBA. Celtics dug in. I love that they did it at the free throw line. That run started with Tatum getting to the rim and then Tatum getting fouled on a 3-pointer. and getting to the free throw line. The first 5 points of that run came at the free throw line. So it was a little bit of kind of throwing it back at the Knicks. Like, yeah, you guys grifted. We can get to the line too, So that was smart. They regained their composure, and and obviously Tatum had it going. That answer to me was chef's kiss. Mwah, perfect. Because from there, that response, that was just it. The Knicks had nothing after that. Payton Pritchard, it might get lost because Tatum had a brilliant 40 piece, but the Celtics up 11 after 1. Pritchard comes in and extends the lead. Now, like I said, Brunson goes on a foul binge and gets the Knicks kind of back into some respectability going into halftime. But Pritchard comes out 14 in the second. He scored 25 points, 14 in the second quarter, 11 in the fourth. So after Tatum does his thing, and Jaylen Brown in the first quarter did his thing. After that, Pritchard comes in and is like gasoline on the fire, and that's when he has it going. Then I say this about Derek White a lot, but if you go back and you look at that first 27 game stretch where the Celtics were really, really good, Payton Pritchard was just incredible. Incredible. That was the whole 6-man of the year thing. Then Pritchard kind of cooled off and the bench had problems. And obviously that happened alongside Porzingis coming back. When Tatum and Brown, they aren't doing the things that they do, when they have games like they had against Dallas and, all the crappy games, Pritchard just really never consistently got going again. This is the type of game where Pritchard, obviously he's not going to average 25 points off the bench, but if he's coming in and hitting his shots, then that just changes the entire dynamic of the game. Because now in the second quarter, in the beginning of the second quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, the Celtics can add to leads or hold on to leads. So Pritchard was spectacular in this one. He almost matched the entire Knicks bench. The Knicks bench scored 28. Pritchard had 25. That's when the Celtics bench is doing that, then they're winning. That's it. And Derek White, same thing. 17 points for him, 4 of 7 from 3. 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and a block. Just a very nice Derek White kind of game. So it's kind of funny. The Celtics shot 19 of 39 from 3. Tatum, Pritchard, Derek White. Those 3 guys, 17 of 29. So the rest of the team was 2 of 10. Those 3 guys were 17 of 29. So Pritchard, his performance was great. Derek White was great. Jaylen, like I said, was good in the first quarter. A bunch of those fadeaway middies. Then he kind of faded a little bit, but that's okay. It didn't really matter much. I didn't like the Xavier Tillman minutes. Sam Hauser was okay. Al Horford was, he did fine. He rebounded and he was okay. So now, so that's basically the story of the game. And now the message that was sent. Celtics go to Cleveland. They go to Cleveland and win. I think it was a complete effort. Joe Mazzulla said after the Dallas loss that he doesn't think that was a complete game. I disagree, and we may be talking about semantics here. I thought the Cleveland win was just a complete effort from top to bottom. Maybe they weren't always great, but I thought it was a complete effort from top to bottom. They go into Cleveland, they win. Yes, the Dallas game happened, and it's infuriating and annoying and all of the stuff that you want to say. Then they go to New York, and they send a message. When the Celtics want to be great, they know how to turn it on. And they didn't have Holiday, and they didn't have Porzingis. And Jaylen Brown was only okay for a half. And in the second half, he was not very good offensively. But they still were able to turn it on. Jayson Tatum finds his groove. You get a contribution from Derek White. You get a contribution from Payton Pritchard. This is the Celtics. This is the championship team. What we saw against the Knicks, that was championship Boston Celtics. That's the team that went out there in June. It doesn't matter who they have, who they don't have. Everybody that was there played great. They played connected. They communicated. They moved well together. They played well together. They even when they made, like, they had little stretches where they made mistakes, they just held it together and got back to it. And even when the Knicks made a run, they didn't fall apart. They kept their poise. They got themselves back up. They steadied themselves, and they fired back. This is the championship Celtics. This is the team. When they want to do it, this is what they can do. And I know that that's annoying as all hell for a lot of you, because you wish they could do it like this all the time. You don't want to have to sit through the Dallas game. You don't want to have to sit through these home losses. You don't want to have to sit here and listen to me say, yeah, that sucked, but it doesn't matter. Because I know it does matter. I do know that it matters to you. I know that you have carved out 2.5 hours of your night. You could be doing anything else. You carve out 2.5 hours of your night to watch them suck against Dallas. You go to the game, you spend probably hundreds of dollars, maybe even $1,000 if you're bringing a family, and you watch the Celtics suck at TD Garden. I get it. It is annoying to you in that moment. And I'm never discounting that. I fully get it. I get it. But championships are what matter. They know that. You know that. And if that Celtics team is throwing a parade in June, you're going to be there. You're going to have your signs and your champagne, and you're going to have your celebrations, and I'm going to be selling my books, and maybe you'll buy that book. But that's why they have their lulls, because they know, hey, some of these games, we don't got it. We just don't got it. And we're not fighting. They're just not going to fight the way they did last year, because they're like, we don't have to fight the way we did last year. We fought all throughout those things last year because we didn't know if it would matter or not. So just kept winning, just kept trying to win. Give it everything you got. Fight till the end, every last drop. Now you know what it takes to win. And you're like, all right, I didn't actually have to give all that last year. That's the other side of this, right? Like the Celtics, if they said, okay, put it on a scale to 100. We gave 100 last year and we won a championship. And everybody's like, yes, that's what you should do. But the Celtics are like, we probably only needed to give like 87. So 13 of those, that 13%, that whatever number you want to give it, they're like, look back on it like, probably didn't have to win that game. Probably didn't have to do this. Probably didn't have to expend all this energy. We probably could have chilled out for a couple of weeks here or there. Probably didn't have to turn it up here. We would have been fine. It wouldn't have made a difference. So now that they won, they're like, yeah, actually, that's okay. This one actually doesn't matter, and this one doesn't matter. Now, that does not take fans into account. Okay, that does not take the fans into account, and that's what sucks. And I think they should take the fans into account. They are performers after all, right? This is a performance. People pay to watch them perform like they would pay any actors or anybody else, dancers. It's still a show. So they should come out and perform. I'm not arguing that. But we live in a championships or bust society, and they are going by championship or bust rules. And so that's why they feel like they can turn it on whenever they need to turn it on, and they don't have to turn it on all the time. And so in this game against the Knicks, Well, the Knicks are chasing them in the standings, and the Knicks are feeling themselves, and Knicks fans are feeling themselves. And, we came off of that loss. We don't feel good about ourselves. Let's go out there and let's just go do it. That's what they're saying. And they went out there and they did it. They can flip the switch. And when they do, whoo boy, it looks like this. So I know that a lot of it sucks and you probably don't want to hear it. And you're probably like, well, why do I even pay attention then? Why don't I just pay attention in, March or April? Well, we're almost there. All-Star breaks in a few days. March is around the corner. So if you want to take a couple weeks off, listen, here, let's make a deal. Don't watch the games. Just watch the podcast. That's fine with me. I'll let you know how it goes. But it really was good to see them turn it on the way they turned it on. And that to have them do that when Jaylen didn't have his A game and you didn't have two of your starters, that's a hell of a message to send. It's a hell of a message to send. So the rest of the league, the rest of the East looks at Boston and they go, oh, yeah, see? Yeah, of course. Any thoughts of, oh, maybe they're vulnerable, maybe they're this, maybe that? You're like, no. Yeah, this is who they are. Yeah, okay. Done. Message sent, message received. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it on a weekend. This is a Saturday night, Sunday morning. So maybe you're out. Maybe you're coming back from a bar. Maybe you're out. You've been out and you look down on your phone and you go, oh man, Karalis dropped a podcast. You'd know that if you were subscribed because it would show up right at your on your device, your favorite podcasting app. Or maybe you just finished watching SNL and you're still up and you want to watch something on YouTube. Boom. Here I am. Make sure you're subscribed there. Get into the comment section. Let me know what you think about everything that I've said. And I would love it if you shared the podcast and told everybody that they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast. Here on the Locked On Podcast Network, it's your team every day.